It is time for the highly anticipated defensive film breakdown for the San Francisco 49ers. And why is it so highly anticipated? Is because we get to figure out why and how the San Francisco 49ers defense bounced back versus the Jags in an extremely huge way. Obviously, much has been made about the 49ers defensive struggles over the 3 weeks leading into the bye, the defensive continuity between defensive coordinator and players, and all that stuff in between. But man, the 49ers defense looked much improved against the Jacksonville Jaguars and came out balling. So, what we're going to do is we are going to do what we always do. We are going to break down the tape, identify key plays, and key deliverables that we got from these defensive players that helped put the 49ers back in the win column and also built a ton of confidence moving forward. And I think that is the biggest takeaway is that what these guys did, they can duplicate moving forward. And that is the biggest key for the San Francisco 49ers defensive success. Let's go. You guys already know what to do. I want to see the chat light up with SDS. I want to see the sourdough squad popping out. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Let's break down the tape. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. What is good, gang? I'm excited for this one. This was a fun tape to watch, offensively, defensively. It was a good time, and I'm excited to get into it. We're gonna hop right into it and start to break down the San Francisco 49ers defense versus the Jags. And right off the bat, you're gonna get a forced throwaway by the 49ers defense. I mean, it's crazy that Trevor Lawrence, like who we know, very talented, number one overall pick, he couldn't do anything. He couldn't do anything against this defense. Like for real. Like he was at a loss. He did not look like a former number one overall pick. Um, in fact, it was Brock. If you really had to, based on performance alone, if you just some random person who has no idea about any of these players somehow but understands football, and you just showed them the quarterback play of Trevor Lawrence and Brock Purdy, and you said one of these guys was the number one overall pick and one of these guys was Mr. Irrelevant. I just from watching the tape, no priors, nothing, no biases, no preconceived information heading into it. You'd be like, "Oh, Brock Purdy would have been the number one overall pick based on how he played." But hey, who cares? Let's watch the 49ers. I think one of the biggest takeaways from this defensive tape was the defensive line, man. The D line was hunting, and it really did start with Javon Hargrave. And you're going to see right here where Javon Hargrave, I said the defensive line, I think, was the MVP of the game against the Jags. It might be Javon Hargrave. I know Nick Bosa got the NFC Defensive Player of the game, but just look at right here how Javon Hargrave affects the pocket. I mean, Eric Armstead's going to get credited for the sack, but if you watch Hargrave over the three tech on the left guard, he is going to bull rush his guy directly into Trevor Lawrence. Lawrence falls. He's already going to the ground, and Eric just hops on top of him. He comes away with the sack. But a lot of credit right there has got to go to number 98, Javon Hargrave. Low man wins. Get under the pads. Look at that. That is a bad spot to be in for an offensive guard, just getting driven back into your quarterback. Basically, your ass is why your quarterback got sacked, because your ass went straight into the back of him. Dominated. Boomer says the 5-man front had me bricked up. I'm not going to lie. A lot of the different things that the 49ers did defensively should have a lot of 49er fans bricked up, because this was the example of how they started. As you can see, 5 down defensive linemen: Cleveland, Kinlaw, Hargrave, Eric, and Bosa. But we're going to see more. And I think that was one of my favorite takeaways from this defensive line and how they were scheming up, is they confused this offensive line. They confused the offensive line by pre-snap looks, showing certain pressures, showing different things. And we're going to look at another instance of some pre-snap alignments here pretty soon that I absolutely loved. We're going to look at it, but man, defense is back, baby. Defense is back. This play, you're going to see defense just swarming to the football. A good sign for this group moving forward. One of the things that we want to see is we want to see hats on the ball, and that's what you get right here. And it all starts with Dre Greenlaw just being patient, sifting through, waiting for the cutback, and he is right there to clean it all up. Great job by Nick Bosa setting the edge and really affecting the pulling guard. Pulling guard's trying to get through basically the C gap, which is between 77 and 85. He's trying to pull through there. This is a gap scheme run. And Bosa says, nope, he is going to clog that hole. And then there's Eric as well. And so ETN tries to cut back. And then you got gold helmets swarming to the football. That's one of the key elements from this defensive tape that I really liked, is I saw a lot of gold helmets to the football. And that's exactly what you're looking for. All started with Bosa collapsing where they wanted to run, and then having your boys fill in is what you're looking for. And when we were talking about pre-snap alignments, this is one of the funnest ones, I would say, of the whole situation. I'm going to show you a different end zone view. All right, look at this. We've got double mugged A gaps. Bosa, Chase Young in standing up out of a 2-point stance. Just I love this. So this was one of the reasons why I was pounding the table for a speed rushing defensive end via trade, is because you can do things like this. You can stand up both your premier edge rushers, Nick Bosa, Chase Young, put them in the A gaps. You got Eric Armstead on the outside. You have Javon Hargrave with both Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw outside the tackles. That presents a challenge for offensive linemen. And who are they bringing? Who are they rushing? Who's stunting? Who's falling out? I just like it. I like it. I liked it a lot. I like the look. The look was phenomenal. Huff did a great job wrapping up and tackling, coming downhill, ready for it, makes the play. But like I said, there's a lot of good things to come out of this tape. Again, look at this particular play. On this play, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the line of scrimmage. And that again presents challenges for offensive line who have to block this up because most likely they're not going to bring everyone. So they got to figure out are they going to overload one side? Who's going to drop out? Who's blitzing? What's the actual look going to look like? You see them calling an audible, likely based on the front. And look what happens as a result. You're going a lot of window dressing. A lot of window dressing for a four-man rush. Diamador, Fred, Dre, and Talanoa all dip out. But Javon Hargrave, Nick Bosa, Chase Young get in for a sack. They didn't know what they were doing on this particular play because if you notice, no one is there to catch the ball. Unless this is intended to be a screen to Travis Etienne, which I don't think it is. This looks like a wide receiver quick screen, but no one actually turns their head to get the ball. It doesn't matter. Javon Hargrave gets in so fast. He gets Trevor Lawrence on the ground. Let's watch it from this angle. Again, highlight on Hargrave. This is Harrison. He's just going to try to get across his face, but that is not enough. And Trevor Lawrence gets absolutely rocked on this play. Defensive line was feasting, and it was quite the sight to see. Again, we've already seen Hargrave affect a sack. Eric Armstead gets credited for it, but it really was a great play by Hargrave to get the bull rush. This one, he actually gets the sack. So early on, we've already seen two plays where Javon Hargrave has affected plays and gave Jaguars a negative play. So Hargrave was balling. Chase Young almost gets home here. One of my favorite things of one scouting Chase Young when we obviously made the trade and seeing it show up on tape for the 49ers is his ability to get to the depth of the quarterback and then cut inside. He does it so well. Whether he's trying to threaten outside rush or an outside speed, as you can see, when the tackle's hips are at this particular leverage and his hips are vertical to the line of scrimmage opposed to being horizontal, that is a open path for the inside lane. And you can see heads up play by Lawrence to get out of there, but Chase Young was right on his heels, almost got the sack. If one step more delay, that's not going anywhere. And if you look at the back end coverage, I think the primary here is 17 Ingram. Great coverage by Talanoa Hufanga to take the underneath and Tashawn Gibson over the top. You do have a wide open player on the other side, but Trevor Lawrence doesn't see it. He doesn't see it. Almost a sack there. One of the biggest developments and keys to the 49ers' success this game was stopping the run. Something that, hasn't been the 49ers' best situation, I guess you could say, the last couple games, but they really did a good job this game of swarming to the football and stopping the run. And stopping the run for the Jags meant they had to do a lot of other things that they probably didn't want to do. A lot of screen game as a result. Basically, what the screen game turned into for the Jags was an extension of the run, is what it comes down to. And, oh, look, who is it? Who is it? Oh, it's Javon Hargrave getting off a double, coming down the line of scrimmage. Javon Hargrave had a hell of a day. Again, Javon Hargrave making the play here. Great stuff. Watch this angle again. They're gonna try to get a double to backer on Hargrave right here, 74-72, but terrible technique by 74 because he puts his head on the wrong side, and that gives Hargrave the opening to shed the block and get the tackle. Nice work. Ethan says Brock needs to stop doing that underhand pass thing when he's getting sacked. Almost leads to fumble, intentional grounding every time. I don't have a problem with it as long as it doesn't turn into a fumble or intentional grounding. Honestly, that's probably one of the least of my worries with Brock, and I don't have many at all. But that definitely wouldn't be up there for me personally. But hey, teach their own. Nick Bosa, PBU. So again, look at the defensive front. Again, so many things I love about this. So many things I love about this that I didn't feel like we were seeing early on. So these are adjustments by the whole group. This is an adjustment starting with Steve Wilks down. Steve Wilks, Chris Kosurik being on the same page. Look at this front that we got. So let's do numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6, okay? That doesn't mean they're bringing 6. And again, every time you show numbers on the line of scrimmage, that is going to cause a bit of confusion for the offensive line because what the offensive line has to do is they have to sort all this out. The center has to identify the mic. And once the center identifies the mic, that is going to help indicate which direction the offensive protection is going to slide. And if you can catch offensive linemen sliding protection to the opposite side that you're overloading, that is going to present a lot of problems. We've seen it happen, unfortunately, with the 49ers offensive line. Brock has done a phenomenal job of navigating these types of pressures. It's one of the things that Brock does super well is the 49ers O-line will get caught sliding protection and they will have an overloaded side. And as you can see, that's what you get here. You get numbers. And as a result, they're sliding protection to Chase. Chase drops out in coverage, and you get Nick Bosa on a free rush. That's scheme. That's scheme right there. That's a scheme win. Bosa gets the PBU, but that's a scheme win. That's a Chris Kosurik, Steve Wilks handshake emoji win right there by being able to confuse. Because based on this leverage right here, based on this look with Fred Warner in the A gap, and you've got what looks to be the heavy side being over here, center's going to call 54 is a mic. They're going to slide protection to the left, but Fred drops out. They bring Greenlaw on a delay, which gets Bosa wide open off the edge. That's a scheme win. I like that. That's like I said, that's one of the biggest takeaways of the defensive tape was not only were they swarming, playing with great energy, getting off the ball, doing all those different types of things, the scheme looked better today. The scheme felt improved. Had way less questions on why certain things were happening in the past. like we have on previous defensive film breakdowns, and it was more of like, oh, this was good, that was good, this was nice. So that was a good change. Trevor, Trevor feeling the pressure. Trevor did not look comfortable. And I think that's again another hat tip to the 49ers defensive line is just Trevor didn't feel comfortable all day. I mean, just not comfortable. All right, what else we get here? We get a nice run stuff. This one starts with Kevin Givens. Kevin Givens does a great job here. You're going to see him head up on the right guard. He's going to do a great job of taking on the puller. Watch that. Great job of indicating like that's a heads up play. Scherf is going to go for like a kick out as the tackle releases inside to get the linebacker. Givens feels it, senses it, and immediately takes on the puller. And there's Fred to clean it up. It's a great job by everyone. Great awareness by Fred. Great awareness by Kevin Givens. Demo gets in the mix. That's nice. That is nice. We like that. And so it's like all these things add up to being like the 49ers can do this week in, week out, depending on who their opponent is. And then I'm sure you guys are just like me. When you saw this play go down, probably brought a little bit of a tear to your eye watching Chase Young, Nick Bosa get home on a 3-man rush. That's pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome. Watch it from this angle. Like Eric Armstead in coverage. How often have we seen that? How often have we seen Eric Armstead drop back in coverage? But again, it creates and poses something that I don't think that the offense was ready for. They weren't prepared for Eric Armstead to drop into coverage. They weren't prepared for some of the looks that they were getting. And then when you watch Bosa and Chase Young get to the depth of the quarterback and they both do basically the same thing, you're going to get a swim from Chase inside. Great job. Bosa comes down with the hand on the ball. Fumble. Bosa picks it up. Fantastic. Poetry in motion. I thought this was an example of a play showing Huff kind of improve his tackling a little bit. I think when we've seen Huff come down really hard in the run game, we've seen him just kind of throw his shoulder sometimes. I like that he wrapped up here. Travis Etienne is no easy guy to tackle. So again, I like that Huff didn't just, lower the shoulder and just kind of try to get him down. He wrapped him up and tripped him up and got him down. I think that is a noticeable improvement. I thought Huff tackled really well this game. So I thought that was great. Open field, one-on-one in the hole with Travis Etienne. That's a hard ask for anyone. But I like the effort there by Talanoa And to me, it looked like something that he's worked on. He's working on wrapping up. The 49ers, the only thing that the Jags found any type of success on the day was screens. That was it. That was the only way they could move the ball was on screens. It's just everything else wasn't working. So a great job by Eric Armstead playing the run fit. Everyone swarming to the football. Now, this next play was a big gainer, but I do want to identify the effort here. I want to watch Javon Hargrave playing in the A gap and just watch him. This is a screen and just watch the effort. Now it's a big gainer, but I'm never anticipating a one tech chasing down a screen like this. Like Hargrave, that's a attaboy. Like it doesn't make the play or anything, but the fact that number 98 is moving downfield like that, that's what you want to see. Look, Kevin Givens not far behind, Chase Young not far behind. It's a big gainer. You don't want to give that up for sure, but I do appreciate the effort by the big boys up front. We're going to get a nice run stuff here. Again, one of the biggest points of emphasis for the 49ers was stopping the run, something they've struggled with since the Browns game. Just really being consistent in the run game, and they definitely showed up here against the Jags in a big way. Look at Fred. Great job by Fred understanding where the ball's going and just putting himself right in the hole to make the tackle. That's a great job by Fred. Did we show the trip? We didn't I didn't emphasize the trip. So hold on one second. We're going to get back. And I just saw my tweet got picked up by some of the bigger aggregators on Twitter. Bot Dov retweeted it. Let's see, where are we at? Chase near sack, Eric tripping play, 654. So I think Eric talked about this on his podcast, but I saw it on film. I'll show you right here. So Eric is going to try to get off this block, and then Scherf's left leg, he's going to kick, like literally kick. It's not a trip. He's kicking Eric in the knee, and Eric goes down. Now, hey, man, like I played offensive line. I understand all the tricks of the trade. Like, hey, sometimes you're going to get beat. Last ditch effort, you kind of stick your leg out there. Maybe you'll trip over it. But that's a straight up kick. He straight up kicked him in the knee. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I think that's an embarrassment to offensive line play. I think that's just dirty play. Like you get cooked to the inside, you're already holding, and you kick him in the knee. That's really whack. Again, it takes a lot for me to turn on my offensive line brothers, but I don't like this kind of stuff. I think this stuff is just dirty. Dirty play. Dirty play. Don't like it. Don't like it at all. But Eric is going to get his revenge. This was a great individual effort by Eric Armstead against Brandon Scherf. Just going to get his eyes in the backfield, instantly disengages from Scherf, tosses him to the side, and makes a beautiful tackle. That's a great job. Eyes in the backfield, feels where the push is coming from, gets him off him. Get off me. Try tripping me again. Great stop by Eric. That was a great, great stop by Eric. Get another look from this angle. Good job by Eric. Again, defensive line felt like a symphony. Felt like they were playing in unison, and it was phenomenal to watch. This particular play that we got coming up is the Charvarius Ward PBU on 3rd and 4. What a great effort here by Mooney. Boom. Nice. Nice. Love it. I don't know if look at Dre Greenlaw really quick. I don't know. I watched this like 5 times when I was breaking down the tape. I don't know if this is an intimidation thing or if he's genuinely just getting his hands dry. But I was like, man, if I was a quarterback and I had Dre Greenlaw staring into my soul, and like, I don't know if that was like, kind of like how the bulls will like, drag their hooves across the ground. I'm like, was that what that was? I don't know if it was. I don't know if he was genuinely just trying to get his hands dry, but if it was, kind of savage. Kind of savage, not gonna lie. But also just great job by Charvarius Ward staying in phase with Christian Kirk, probably their most shiftiest wide receiver. Get that thing out of there. Great job by Charvarius. Justin says, is the D-line so good, with the addition of Young, that we're going to see a lot more screens from teams in the future? Yeah, 100%. Like if this defensive line group is going to continue to put up this type of pressure from the defensive line and they're going to pin their ears back and get after the quarterback, they're definitely going to see a lot more screens. Again, this was a screen right here. This was a screen, but as long as they are alert on the screen, it's going to allow the defensive line to still get after these guys. Actually, I don't think this was a screen. I lied. It's not a screen. It's just ETN checking, going into the middle of the field. It's not a screen. Not a screen. Not a screen. I want to make sure that's clear. Not a screen. However, guess who's making the play? Javon Hargrave on number 72. Oh, man. Oh, when Javon gets that hand on that back shoulder right there, and he can just move you with the swim over the top, just completely offensive lineman loses his leverage, and all of a sudden Hargrave is right in the face of the quarterback. Cleveland, again, is going to come away with the statistic of a sack, but that play was forced by Javon Hargrave. Javon was balling this game, man. Javon, and Javon's going to create more turnovers coming up here. Javon had a day, man. Like he I know I know Nick got NFC Defensive Player of the Week, but I think Javon Hargrave was the best defensive lineman on the day. Nick had a day for sure, but I think Javon really balled the F out. He went crazy. He went crazy. Great job by Hargrave. We got another super chat. I think the Jags had several dirty offensive plays. Could be right. One of Trevor's lone completions on the day. Speaking of dirty plays, this next play that I got actually right on cue felt like an illegal pick play. And again, I'm definitely not an expert at rules in the secondary, but watch Ridley here. Pick Diamador. That feels like an egregiously noticeable. That isn't a rub. Like this isn't a natural rub. Like he's clearly adjusts his route, throws his shoulder into Diamador, and then just does nothing. Like this has to be one of the most egregious pick plays I've seen. I'm all for a beautiful natural rub route. I think being able to generate and create space off natural rub routes, A plus. I'll take it all day, any day of the week. But this is not natural. This dude's going out of his way to throw his shoulder into Diamador, and that's what creates the spacing on the play. And then you got this goofy running all the way down the sideline. Who is this guy, huh? Why is there one guy running all the way down the sideline like they just won the Super Bowl? Like, my boy, it's 20-3. And you guys and you just celebrated like you just scored the game winning touchdown. I get it. It's a big play, but it's often that looks like an illegal pick to me. Looks like you got away with one there. So whatever. You got away with one. That's fine. It's fine. It happens. It happens time to time. But boy, was he excited. Hey, I guess you had to be excited about something in a game like this. Because not a lot to be excited about for this Jags offense. A lot to be excited about for the San Francisco 49ers defense, though. A lot to be excited about, like this play coming right up. This play was great. Nick Bosa firing off the edge. Get off me. Now, Nick Bosa forces this turnover. So, Nick definitely gets credit for this play. Great job. Great use of hands. Great job of cutting his angle at the depth of the quarterback. Get flat. Oh, look at that. Defensive lineman couldn't do nothing. Again, man, if you can get that leverage and then the rip, oh, that's a win. The second you're like this and that you get the chokehold, you see it classic Nick Bosa chokehold. Hands on the head, arm around the neck, Bosa ripping through, forcing Trevor Lawrence to pee down his leg and throw an absolute dart to a guy standing 2 feet away. Pops it up, tip drill, Talanoa Hufanga. Let's go. Let's go. Shout out Bosa. This team just played. I mean, and to be fair, Bosa's been doing this all year. Like, this isn't anything new. It's really not. Bosa's getting better coverage on the back end, so they're being able to get home. I would say the coverage in this game was exceptionally improved. Like, just really, really did a good job in a lot of different aspects of the game. Um, we got Ambry's big play coming up. So this is the play before Ambry gets the big play. He's one on one with Ridley and does a pretty good job in coverage. Again, they tried to work a natural rub by getting, is that Jair? No, that's Dre Greenlaw. So they tried to create a natural collision between Ambry's back pedal and Dre Greenlaw coming down on the slant. This is a hard play for Ambry. Does a great job staying in phase, eyes back to the ball. Ridley had no chance. Ridley had no chance. It is a good thing that Trevor picked the left side because Christian Kirk was wide open on this side. So, Ambry, good job. Got to tighten up a little bit on the other side. And then Ambry makes another play and strips the ball. Should have been a touchdown. It's funny because I do recall Kyle Shanahan, really coming down Brock Purdy's lane with, one of the worst decisions he's ever made on a touchdown. Which again, we rationalized it. Probably wasn't the best decision, but the outcome was phenomenal. But coach, come on, man. Who's this guy? Who's this guy right here? Who's that with the call sheet? Who is that? Oh, little skip isn't gonna work, my guy. This is why the touchdown didn't count, is because all of these guys are on the field. And as you can see, the ref runs into everyone, throws the hat, and that's why it got called back. But who's this? Who's the last man on the field? Oh, that's Shanny. Kyle, come on, Kyle. I'm putting that on you. I'm not putting on the rookie D Winters. I'm not putting on Wilkes or Oliver. That's on you, Shanny. Come on, Shanny. Shanny, you took a touchdown off the board, my boy. You know those Yeezys can't touch the turf with the ball still live? I know that he's not wearing Yeezys, but he'll bust them out time to time. Hey, Shanny, though. I know Shanny watches the channel. Big fan of the ginger beard, per sources. But hey, man, you need a personal get back coach. I'm a big boy. I can move you pretty quickly. One little snag, I'll get you back. And I'll just sit in your hip pocket, and I'll just anytime you try to go on the sideline, I'm like, remember the Jags game? And I'll just I mean, look at our guy. Looking like bro, straight up looking like the Bigfoot photo. The OG Bigfoot photo where he's kind of like looking back. Like it's like at this moment, Kyle Shanahan knew he messed up. Kyle, don't kill me. I'm just having fun. I'm just having fun. Don't be mad at me. Don't block me, Kyle. This is still your fault, though. You want to talk about bad decisions, Kyle? I could talk about bad decisions. Oh, good stuff. All love for Kyle. Just busting your chops, Kyle. Don't block me. Do I think Kyle will find himself? No, I think Kyle needs to move himself to the box. I think that's my biggest takeaway. My professional evaluation of that play. Kyle needs to put himself in the box. He doesn't know how to act when he's on the sideline, apparently. When it's a defensive series, he needs to have like a little penalty box that he just stands in. And and then you have a get back coach who just anytime he tries to wander out of his little penalty box, you just pull him back into it like ah, ah. Defense is on the field. Nah, we hold everyone responsible. Everyone gets held accountable around here. Everyone gets held accountable around here, right? It's Shanny's turn. It's Shanny's turn. Typically, you don't see head coaches affecting plays on the field, but hey, we got one. We got one. Javon Hargrave, run stuff. Javon Hargrave, my defensive player of the game, was defensive line, but Hargrave balling, dude. Hargrave, Little's just holding him. Look at the hold. Hargrave's balling. Hargrave and Bosa had a day. Let's take a look at this one. We're going to have a Bosa sack coming up. This to me is a coverage sack. You're going to get a inside loop, little stunt action by Bosa. Trevor not feeling it. Look at Demo tossing ETN, and Bosa just sneaks right around, gets the sack. Beautiful. Watch it again from this angle. Ooh, good call. Good call. Mike Tomlin sticking his foot out when that player ran past him. That was hilarious. That was literally hilarious. All right. Hargrave gonna show up again. Hargrave gonna show up again. Right to Fred. It all starts with Javon Hargrave right here on the interior. Little, not even prepared for the snap, doesn't even move. Hargrave pulls Lawrence as he just throws up a prayer, drops it right to Fred Warner. Again, Hargrave is responsible for like 3 sacks, a turnover, multiple run stuffs. Hargrave balling, man. Hargrave went crazy in this game. This was definitely Hargrave's best game of the year. Hargrave went nuts. This, I think we're lined up. Tashawn Gibson, really nice PBU on this one. Really nice PBU on this one. I mean, he has to undercut this wide receiver because Lenore is going to take the deeper route, and it looks like that's kind of the function because once that wide receiver clears Gip, he just turns around to like watch the play. So Gip has to fight underneath that, and then he closes in. What a great play by Gip. I thought this was phenomenal. Individual effort, driving down, breaking up the pass. That's a great job by Gip right there. See it from this angle. Great job by Gip. We got a Kinlaw PBU. Get those mitts up, bat the ball down. I like it. I like it. I'll take it. And we got 2 more plays. We got the missile, Dre Greenlaw. Dude's got so much speed. He eats so much ground. It's unbelievable. And we got a little Jair Brown. Little Jair Brown in the game. Oh, 49ers make it official, signed Spencer Wagee to the practice squad, and they released defensive lineman Austin Bryant from the practice squad. Yeah, Austin Bryant is an NFL player, unfortunately. But Jair Brown, I like it. Squeezing through, chasing it down. Shamar and Jair. Okay. Okay. Good to see. So, again, a lot of good stuff to take away from the tape on the defensive side of the football. And if the San Francisco 49ers offensively and defensively can put up performances like this at the same time, literally the definition of complementary football. And then you have complementary football like within each individual group. Like the defensive line and the coverage unit working together in this game was absolutely phenomenal. It was fantastic. This is if we can get this defense week in and week out, this would be glorious. The 49ers can stop a lot of people with that type of play that they showed against the Jags. I mean, they made the Jags look not good, if we're being honest. And heading into this game, the Jags are supposed to be one of the hottest teams in the NFL, winning 5 in a row. And the 49ers just went in there into their own house and they sunned them. Absolutely sunned them. It was a phenomenal performance, both sides of the ball. It really, really was. Hey, shout out to my boys. Shout out to SDS OGs, Justin and Cap for the super chats. Appreciate you guys, man. Justin says, "Yo, man, did you see why I said DJ Moore vibes when you saw how smooth Jacob Cowing was in that red zone in the red zone clip? Yeah, for sure. Like you could see it. You can kind of see how he like sits it down. And again, the whole point is to get the defensive back to bite on that like little button hook, and then he just instantly shoots to the inside. Um, yeah, I'd say that clip does a really good job of showcasing Cowing's kind of start stop ability and definitely some of that smooth ability. You said he was 5'11", right? 5'11", 175, I think is what you had said. But yeah, just that one clip, super intrigued, super intrigued by him. So that's going to be a guy I definitely want to look into further for sure. Um, Cap says, haven't tuned in since the dub. Been busy, but damn, did we look good. Love that Purdy silenced the haters once again. Young was a gem of a get. And speaking of Tig, you notice how vocal he was. Leader, yes. Yes. Great call out, Brian. One of my biggest takeaways of watching the I think they called it the sights and sounds um on YouTube, the 49ers YouTube channel, where they post like mic'd up stuff. One of my biggest takeaways was Jair talking to everyone like he's damn near a starting defensive tackle or something. You know what I mean? Like damn near like um yeah, 100. That was one of my biggest takeaways. I was like, oh, look at Jair. I was like, he's hyping everyone up. He's like behind the coaches. Like I remember one clip where he's like trying to get around the coaches to like, all the starters are sitting on the bench and he's like trying to get around the coaches to be like, he's like, hey man, hey man. I was like, okay, Jair. I like it. I like it. I wouldn't mind seeing Jair play a little bit more. Yeah, but I totally saw that. Uh, uh, uh. Okay. Yeah, I agree. I agree. He talks with his chest. He talks like he's a starter, and I don't think it's forced. You know what I mean? It looks like he's just genuinely that passionate about the game. Like he's just that passionate about his guys. Um, and I'm sure when he's going to get his opportunity to play, it's going to be even more impactful. So love it from Jair, man. Love that Purdy silenced the haters. Young looked great. Javon Hargrave looks like he's worth every single penny that they paid him. Um, man, when those guys are cooking, when that's I remember talking about it. I think in the pregame and kind of on Prediction Friday and like our lead up to that game. And I was talking about like, man, I want the defensive line to show out. Like that's really where it starts with this group. This D line needs to get back to their ways, and they need to get after it. They really, really, really have to. Um, and that's exactly what they did. Defensive line took over this game, and you can see how easily when the defensive line is playing at an extremely high level, it's really easy to see like how impactful they can really be. So Man, was this tape a breath of fresh air, offensively, defensively. Just really, really love what we saw from this group up front. So I'm excited. So this game, this performance by the defense, they can duplicate this. They can do this again. Again, it was a combination of things. The scheme benefited this defense. What felt like for one of the first standout times all year. Like where I'm watching and I'm like, ooh, this alignment made it really difficult for the offense. This alignment made it difficult for the offense. This look, this particular play, like I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know if it really was getting Steve Wilkes down from the booth. Like, I don't know. But something's different about this defense. Something's different with how they're calling it. Something's different with the energy, at least in this particular game. And man, if that's what we can get week in, week out, from a schematic standpoint, from a execution standpoint, it's going to be nice. Going to be nice. For sure. I really enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it. Is it Kyle being involved? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe Chris Kosurek more involved. I don't know. Because the defensive line looked completely rejuvenated in this game. And they were a factor. They were a factor for sure. Peter's ready. So yeah. If you were baking cookies like Peter, grab them. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the film breakdown. Film breakdowns are always so much better after a win. And we just focus on all the good plays that are being made. Kind of sucks after a loss because it's like the film breakdowns change to, what did they do wrong and how do they improve it? A little bit more down, but this was a fun one. Oh yeah, Baker better be terrified. He's got 2 Ohio State Buckeyes gunning for his neck, so looking forward to it. We are going to be doing State of the Franchise with Aponte at 1:45. So in an hour, I will be back on. We'll get Aponte on, get his takes, his thoughts on the game, look at the Bucks a little bit, all those different types of stuff. I agree. I actually agree with this 100%. These slot wide receivers are the slot wide receivers when we're running man coverage. Still looks like an issue regardless of who's out there. Whether it's Demo, whether it's Oliver, they just looks like that slot spot. They just haven't been able to fill since Jimmy Ward left. So we'll see. Someone's got to step up, though. We'll see who it is. So grab your cookies on the way out. I'll see you guys in an hour for State of the Franchise. And I appreciate you guys, as always, for tapping into the channel. Y'all the best. I'm out of here for now. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to